For over a month, Mandy had been at her parents' house, and her husband, Jonathan, yearned for a video call with her. Little did he know that he was about to uncover a secret his wife had been keeping hidden. In a moment of carelessness, by not ending a video call, what Jonathan witnessed would leave him profoundly astonished. Hello, my friends. I am Linda, and this is Linda's Love Stories. I hope you enjoy this story. Under the weight of the devastating loss of her beloved cousin, a victim of a treacherous disease that appeared without warning, Mandy saw her life transform in an unexpected and profound way. That abrupt tragedy acted as a catalyst, driving her to reevaluate every aspect of her existence. With a courage that only moments of intense pain can inspire, Mandy made the bold decision to resign from her stable and predictable job. She was willing to abandon the security she knew in search of something that had always been her passion, the art of jewellery making. For a long time she had regarded this skill as a simple hobby, a tranquil refuge for her creative soul. As she crafted delicate necklaces, elegant bracelets, and earrings that shimmered like distant stars, Mandy found a new purpose. She shared her creations with the world through the internet, allowing her jewellery to reach hearts in every corner of the globe. But Mandy's journey was not travelled alone. Her husband, Jonathan, played a fundamental role as her greatest supporter and encourager. He saw the determination in her eyes, the passion that burned in her heart, and did not hesitate to offer his unconditional support. Mandy and Jonathan had already shared a decade of love and partnership. Their marriage was a fortress of commitment and harmony, an example of the kind of union that inspires and warms hearts. They were the cohesive couple, those who naturally attracted people to their circle of friendship, like a beacon of warmth and hospitality. Their home was a constant gathering point for friends. Mandy and Jonathan were known for their contagious joy and unwavering willingness to offer a helping hand to anyone in need. The parties held at their home were legendary, filled with music, dancing, and delicious dishes that Mandy lovingly prepared. The inviting aroma of her kitchen always hung in the air, inviting everyone to gather around the table. It was common to see the living room sofa turn into an improvised bed, especially for those who had enjoyed the wine a little too much at the lively parties. Mandy and Jonathan not only opened the doors of their home but also their hearts, offering warmth and friendship to all who crossed their path. At that moment in their lives, Mandy and Jonathan were living a chapter of happiness that seemed straight out of a fairy tale. Mandy was finally realising her dream of working with what she loved, fully dedicating herself to creating her stunning jewellery. Meanwhile, Jonathan had received a promotion at work, reaching a new milestone in his career. The couple had a circle of friends and loved ones surrounding them, filling their days with laughter, affection, and special moments. It seemed like everything was perfect, that life was smiling on them in every possible way. Everything seemed perfect until Mandy surprised Jonathan with an unexpected decision. Jonathan, I've decided that I'm going to spend some time at my parents' house. I miss my hometown and my parents. I'm going to take a break from making jewellery and spend some time with my family. And since you've been busy with your new responsibilities at work, I think now is a good time for me to take this trip. Jonathan, always willing to support his wife, felt a wave of confusion at Mandy's unexpected decision, but he maintained his calm and understanding demeanour. Are you sure about this? How long do you plan to stay there? He asked, with a touch of concern in his voice. I'm not sure yet, maybe a few weeks, replied his wife with a slight uncertainty in her voice. That same week, Mandy left for her hometown, where her parents still resided. Despite the distance, the couple committed to keeping their bond strong through daily video calls. The first days of Mandy's stay in her hometown were marked by exuberance and constant sharing of photos and videos, as if she was eager to show Jonathan every detail of her day. She enthusiastically conveyed the places she visited, the people she met, and the experiences she was having. At night, the couple maintained their tradition of video calls, sharing all the day's news and stories. However, as the days went by, something began to change. Mandy gradually distanced herself from her messages and sharings. The photos and videos became scarce, and she began to find excuses to cancel the video calls with Jonathan. Countless thoughts and theories started to run through Jonathan's mind. Could it be possible that Mandy had reconnected with an old flame in her hometown and was considering leaving him? Perhaps she had realised that the life she led alongside him was no longer satisfying and was pondering about moving back in with her parents. Feeling lost and anxious to understand what was happening with his beloved wife, he turned to his in-laws for answers. He regularly called Mandy's parents, looking for clues about what might be causing her change in behaviour. Mandy's parents seemed reluctant to share details. They repeated the same reassuring words, saying that their daughter was fine and that she just needed some time to rest and find herself. A month and a half had passed since Mandy had left for her parents' house, and the lack of regular communication and her reluctance to make video calls had created a cloud of uncertainty hanging over him. Occasionally she sent short messages, promising that she would return home soon, but offered few details about what was going on. That Friday night, Jonathan had just arrived home from work. His heart leapt when the phone rang, and seeing Mandy's name on the screen, a wave of relief washed over him. "Mandy, my love, it's so good to see your face again," he said with an emotional voice as he answered the call. "I've been so worried. I miss you so much." On the other side of the video call, Mandy appeared, her loving smile and a sparkle in her eyes that Jonathan hadn't seen in a long time. She looked tired, but the joy of seeing her outweighed any other feelings. "Jonathan, I've missed you very much too," she replied with a soft, emotional voice. "I apologise for distancing myself like this, but I really needed some time for myself. I'm thinking of extending my stay for a few more weeks." The news that Mandy planned to stay longer left Jonathan disappointed. He longed for his wife's return, for the joy she brought to his life, and hoped she would come back soon. "All right, my love. If you think that's what you need, then I'm here to support your decision," he said kindly. "Just promise that you'll try to communicate with me more often. I'm eager to hear your voice and know how you are." Mandy nodded thankfully, appreciating Jonathan's understanding. They said their goodbyes, with the promise to keep in touch more frequently. Jonathan, after the conversation, simply left his phone on the table, diving into his own thoughts. For a moment he didn't realise the call was still connected. It was only when something caught his attention that he noticed the screen still showed an image of Mandy. His shock was immediate once he realised what was happening. The image of Mandy on the video call revealed something he hadn't expected. His eyes widened, and his heart raced as he observed the scene in front of him. In a surprising exclamation, Jonathan simply could not contain his reaction. "Mandy, are you pregnant?" The woman, realising that the call was still active, and that Jonathan had made that surprising discovery, was momentarily in shock. Unsure of how to respond to the situation, she opted to end the call abruptly. Jonathan tried calling Mandy multiple times, sent messages, and waited but received no response. There were no available flights to his wife's hometown that night. Jonathan was willing to endure an 8-hour car journey, overcoming the distance and exhaustion, because he needed to be by Mandy's side and understand what was happening in her life and in their relationship. After a long and exhausting trip through the night and early morning, Jonathan finally arrived at Mandy's parents' house early in the morning. The place was still enveloped in tranquility and silence when he arrived. Jonathan rang the doorbell, and soon his mother-in-law appeared at the door, still trying to fully wake up. Jonathan greeted his mother-in-law with a gentle nod and quickly made his way to the old room Mandy used to occupy when she lived there. There, he found his wife sitting on the bed, hands over her face, clearly showing she had been crying. "My love, what is happening?" said Jonathan, sitting next to her and wrapping her in a hug. "Jonathan, I didn't want you to find out this way, but I'm 4 months pregnant," confessed Mandy, her voice choked with emotion. "Mandy, when you came here, did you already know you were pregnant? Why didn't you tell me before?" he asked, trying to understand the reason for the secrecy and the distance that had grown between them. As Mandy faced her husband, she knew it was time to reveal the whole truth. Throughout their relationship, she and Jonathan had been quite firm about their decision not to have children. However, When Mandy got pregnant by accident, something inside her began to flourish, and the idea of having a child started to warm her heart. She was going through so many changes in her life that this seemed like an opportune moment to embrace this new adventure. Mandy had planned a special surprise to tell Jonathan about the pregnancy. She invited him for a walk in the park, a perfect setting to share the news she was eager to reveal. On the way, however, they came across a family struggling to control 3 children who were chasing ducks by the park's lake. "Look, Mandy, what a difference from our calm and tranquility compared to that couple running after their kids. Our life is perfect, isn't it?" Jonathan commented at that moment, with a satisfied smile on his lips. Jonathan's remark left Mandy devastated. How could she tell her husband that soon they would be the ones running after a child? In the days that followed, Jonathan seemed so happy with the current state of their lives that he kept saying, "Our life is perfect now, isn't it, my love? I wouldn't change anything about our lives." Facing the complexity of the situation and the uncertainty of how Jonathan would react to the pregnancy news, Mandy made the difficult decision to spend some time at her parents' house. Upon hearing Mandy's full story and understanding the reason for her hesitation in sharing the pregnancy news, Jonathan couldn't hold back the tears in his eyes. He embraced her with care and love, making it clear how sorry he was for making his wife think she couldn't share something so important with him. "I'm sorry, my love," he said sincerely, caressing Mandy's face, "for making you feel that you couldn't tell me something so important. Our life was wonderful because we built our happiness together. Your happiness by my side is what brings colour to my days, and if this baby makes you happy, I'm sure I will love them with all my heart." The lack of communication that almost resulted in a serious misunderstanding had been a valuable lesson for Jonathan and Mandy. They realised how important it was to share their feelings, fears, and dreams with one another, as it further strengthened their relationship. The couple stayed united, even stronger than before, and welcomed a beautiful baby who brought new joy and meaning to their lives. Although the arrival of the baby brought significant changes, Jonathan did not hesitate to say that he would not change anything in his life, because he knew that each challenge and each moment of happiness they shared led them to that point. And have you ever hidden something from someone out of fear of what their reaction might be? If you enjoyed, please give it a like and subscribe to the channel. Leave a comment with a number from 1 to 5 to let us know how much you liked the story. Also, watch the video that is currently on your screen. See you soon.